My name is Dustin, and today I wanted to do a tutorial on installing DOSEMU2 into Debian 12 Bookworm. The steps are pretty straightforward. You can run into certain issues, and we just kind of have to address those one at a time. Fortunately, I've taken a lot of the work out of the process for you by putting together this video. Hopefully you'll find it useful, and definitely let me know what you think, and feel free to leave some feedback in the comment section below. Also, it's a new YouTube channel, just started today, so be sure to subscribe and stay up to date with content as it becomes available, and I will certainly post more if this is something that you enjoy. All right, so to start, what I've done is set up a completely clean VirtualBox installation. Minus, I've already gone in and set up the VirtualBox additions. When I do that, I'm kind of using it as a master image. So for this project, I'm going to clone that image. And this should only take a couple seconds. All right, once cloned, let's go ahead and rename it. So I'm going to call it Razorbox 2 Debian 12 DOSEMU2. There we go. All right, and just a brief rundown of the system specs that I have in VirtualBox. I just have 4 cores, 8 gigs of RAM. I have 128 megs of video dedicated to it, and a 200 gigabyte hard drive image. You can set yours up pretty much any way you feel appropriate. If you plan on putting more content on your virtual machine, feel free to do so. This is just how I've configured it for this tutorial. It's probably quite overkill. All right, so first steps, I'll get logged into my VM. I'm going to open up a console, make it a little bit bigger for you. And because this is a fresh install with just VirtualBox additions, I am not yet a sudoer, so I'm going to go ahead and add myself to the sudoers file. Get out of root. That should be the only time I have to be root this entire process, minus using sudo to perform the installs. All right, next step. Debian comes with quite a few packages that we need as dependencies already native to the operating system. I try to avoid building stuff that Debian already has because it can break stuff later. If we install a package later that overwrites something or configures it differently, there can be problems. So it's just, in my opinion, best to use what comes with Debian primarily, and then we'll start building the custom parts as we move along, all of the other dependencies and the actual install later on. So next, I am going to give myself the ability to paste. So we will need to enable the shared clipboard. Let's make it bidirectional. And then I will copy and paste all of the stuff that we need. All right, so there's quite a few dependencies that are built into Debian. I'll go ahead and list all those off for you. You have install, autoconf, build essential, libsd-dev, gawk, bison, flex, pkg-config, Python 3, git, nasm, clang, debhelper, libelf-dev, universal-ctags, libsd-dev, libcap-dev, libao-dev, libacl1-dev, libsearpc-dev, cmake, libslirp-dev, libfluidsynth-dev, fluid-soundfont-gs, lib64-dev, libiee1284-3-dev, loadspa-sdk-dev, libgpm-dev, libxpm-dev, and libsling2-dev. I'm going to go ahead and paste this in the comments below so you don't have to type all that in unless you enjoy it. But we'll start by installing all of the pre-built dependencies. Oh, what's another, 1.2 gigs? Come on. All right, next up, there's one other package that we need from the backports, and that's going to be Meson. So check your sources.list under etc apt sources.list, and you're just going to want to make sure that you have bookworm-backports within your sources list. If you don't, you'll want to add it and then do an apt update. We're going to do an apt update anyways. And the main reason for that is for Meson, because we're going to be using some Meson builds, at least one, and you need to have version, I believe 2 or greater, 3 or greater, and the Debian repository has version 1, but it doesn't have the version we're going to grab, which is 5. So next up, we're going to sudo apt-t bookworm-backports install Meson. And that's it for our Debian stuff, for our Debian packages. Next step, we want to download a bunch of Git repositories, so we're just going to create a directory called Git. The repositories that we want to install, there's quite a few, and I'll explain this in just a moment, but I've got a script that I've kind of cheated with, so I'm just going to go ahead and install Genie, because it's a little better than VI improved for as long as you have a desktop manager. And I'm going to create a file called git.sh in my Git folder. And these are all of the packages. We already created our Git folder, so we don't really care about this part. But all the packages that we're going to get are in this list. Make it a little bigger for you. Control++. Control+++++++++. Hopefully you can see that. Again, I will paste this in the comment section below so it's a little easier and you won't have to type it. We're going to be grabbing the nasm-segelf repository, thunkgen, smaller c, dj stub, dj64-dev, JSON-C, libslirp, munt, fdpp, install FreeDOS, comcom64, and DOSEMU2.git. We're also going to build them in this order. If you build them out of order, you're going to run into some dependency issues. You'll see if you try. But it took a little bit of work for me to figure out the exact order that we had to install this, so I've done it for you. Just install. We're going to build and install it in this specific order. I'm going to go ahead and save that, Control S, close out. Make git executable, and then from the Git folder, I'm just going to run git.shish, and it'll go out and grab all of them. All right, no errors, that's always good. And there they are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That matches my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 that we grabbed. All right. So we're going to start with nasm-segelf. So I'll go into the nasm-segelf folder. This uses a configure script, so we'll just run ./configure. We'll then run make. No errors on the configure. And then we'll install. Sudo make install. Done. That's simple. Next up, we will do funcgen. So I will go into the funcgen folder. This one uses Meson. So we'll just run configure. Gives us the commands we need right here. So we'll start with a Meson compile verbose c build verbatim. And then to install it, we'll do this as we'll do Meson install -c build to install it as root. And start there. We can ignore those warnings. They are just warnings. And then sudo Meson install -c build. Done. All right. Next up is going to be smaller c. So we'll go smaller c. Smaller c does have a configure script. Doesn't look like it really does anything, so we'll just hit make. And then sudo make install. Let's just see if it works. smlrc, I believe it is. Yeah, it works. I'm not doing anything, so we're gonna get an error, but it's not an error, it just works. Good deal. So I should be doing this every build because we can run into issues later if we don't, but I'm gonna just do a sudo sbin ld-config to refresh the libraries, the dependencies, and I'll start doing that from this point forward. So once we're done with smaller c, we'll want to do dj stub. So we'll just do this one does not have a configure, so we just do make, and then sudo make install, and then we're just going to do another ld-config. Next up is going to be dj-dev or dj64-dev. This one does not have a configure, so we'll just do a make, and then sudo make install. And then like before, we will just run ld-config to make sure. And next we're going to do FreeDOS. FreeDOS, FDPP, FreeDOS++, whatever you want to call it. FreeDOS uses the configure script, so we will just run configure. Doesn't really look like it did anything, so we'll just do a make. And we'll do make install. Oh, sudo make install. There we go. Sbin ld-config. Alright, so FreeDOS is installed. Next up, we're going to install JSON-C. I believe this might be required for the JSON module, if I'm not mistaken, in DOSEMU, so we'll do that one next. This one uses cmake. So what we'll want to do is create a build directory. So we'll just create a build directory called build-dir, and we will run cmake configure from that directory using the previous directory as noted there. Cmake configure. Created a bunch of our build stuff, so we'll hit make next. from the build directory, we'll hit make, and then sudo make install. Done. All right, next up. Munt. All right, so for Linux, we don't really care about the DOSBox stuff or the FreeBSD stuff. We're just going to do the MT32EMU and the MT32EMU also driver. So we'll go into munt, and then we'll go into MT32EMU. So we're going to want to run cmake -dcmake_build_type : string equals release, and then the dot for the current directory. So special setup here. Once that's done, we'll just do make, and then we'll do a make install. And then sudo /sbin/ld-config. All right. Next up, let's do MT32EMU also driver. I don't know that, I'm pretty sure this is required for DOSEMU, but don't hold me to it, but we're just gonna do it anyways. What's it gonna hurt? This one's easy, we just do make, and then sudo make install. Done. All right, next in our list is going to be install FreeDOS. No, ComCom64. We want to do ComCom64 first. Oops. Oh, we're still in munt. All right. Has a makefile. Has. So I think on ComCom64 we just do make, and then sudo make install. Done. It installed to user local share ComCom64. Keep that in mind. A lot of distributions just use user share. This one's going to put it in local. But so does FreeDOS++ as well as DOSEMU. So they'll all be in user local, not in user share or user lib and what have you. All right, so we'll just do another sudo sbin ld-config, and then next up we will do install FreeDOS, right? Yep, install FreeDOS. This one, all you do is make install, so we'll do sudo make install. Done. All right. I believe that is everything for prerequisites. We did ComCom64, DJ64-dev, DJ-stub, FDPP install FreeDOS, JSON-C. We did not do libslirp. Is there a reason we didn't do libslirp? I know why we didn't do libslirp. So the reason why I can actually remove libslirp from my list, the reason why we did not do libslirp was because we installed the libslirp-dev version from Debian. So we installed this earlier. Already installed latest version 4.7, good to go. So no need to install to build and install libslirp. I think I needed that for something else on a different build. Maybe it was an earlier version of Linux, or the version wasn't right on an earlier version of Linux, but we can ignore that for Debian 12. So munt, nasm-segelf, smaller c, and function we already installed, so we're good to go on DOSEMU. So for DOSEMU2, we'll do a default configure. We don't do Meson, we don't do configure. Just remember it's ./default-configure. This will tell us if there's going to be any errors. Hopefully, in an ideal world, this will tell us if there's going to be any errors. There you go. See, we got slurp, got SDL, munt, libao, else x. Yeah, we're good to go. That's everything. Next step, we'll just we'll make. Let me just one more time, just make sure. Sudo sbin ld-config. Let's do a make. And oh look, an error. Wrong dj-dev64 version. We did ld-config, so I know that's not it. And I know we built dj-dev, and I know we did it in the right order. So the only way that I know of that this might happen is if there's been a change. So, and there has. So the developer has updated dj-dev64, so we now have probably a version that is too new for the version of DOSEMU that we're trying to build. But I'm gonna make a gamble right here. Not always best practice to do this. I'm gonna make a gamble and say that it's not gonna care about the version, and we're just gonna go into cd, where is that file? Find. I'm gonna go into source, plug in dj64. I'm going to open dj-dev64.c. I'm gonna find this error, and hopefully this will be easy. Aha, there's the error. What do you know? I don't care about the version, so I'm just going to get rid of it. The version check, so we've modified the dj-dev64c, so it's not going to check the version. And let's hope that fixes it. So we'll do make clean, make. Hopefully in the future you won't have to go through that step. Usually the developers are pretty good about updating all the packages when there's a version change and whatnot, and because he had just done it an hour ago, it would not surprise me if he's in the process of doing that right now. All right, no more error. That's good. So we'll just sudo make install DOSEMU2 is now installed. Now for the ultimate test. Let's run DOSEMU. Hey, look at that, fired right up. I got one error, so KVM error. I don't have KVM set up right now, so that's fine. It's not a requirement. All right, so we're good to go. All I have is my temp folder. There's the FD, the FreeDOS configuration, config sys and autoexec.bat files, the equivalent of them. We got our, we're using ComCom64. So there you have it. We downloaded all the packages. We grabbed our Git repositories. We compiled and built all of the dependencies and ultimately DOSEMU. I did notice towards the end there that we did not have FreeDOS properly installed, so we would not be able to use, for instance, some of the FreeDOS commands and features such as edit and other things. But I'm going to do another tutorial on that one. So I'm glad that we got it up and running. Definitely, like I said, if you find this video useful, leave a comment below. It does help. Subscribe. It's a new channel. It's going to help. And I'll be back in a bit with FreeDOS installation hack. Also, let me know what you'd like to see. What do you use FreeDOS for? What do you use Linux for? Let me know what you'd like to see, and I'll definitely do some tutorials on things that may be popular in the future. I really appreciate you guys joining me, and I hope you have a great rest of your week.